Hey everyone, good to see you here again on another episode of the Watchlist. Let's go back through about the last 2 to 3 weeks worth of stuff that I've watched and see what recommendations I have for you guys. First up here, the Batman 60s TV Blu-ray box set. I'm still making my way through this. I'm still on season 1. Julie Newmar came in as Catwoman, which is pretty cool in the couple of latest episodes I watched. I think I mentioned before in the Watchlist that sometimes it gets a bit gets a bit too silly sometimes, so I watch kind of a couple of these and then I'll kind of duck out for a while. So that was the kind of first thing up that I watched, Batman TV show. Going back to not even streaming, but like TV, so the last episode of the current series of The Walking Dead finally aired. I was really looking forward to see where they were going to go with that, and I'm not too sure. I kind of feel sometimes The Walking Dead, it's the usual kind of end of season finale, like one group gets out of trouble, another group gets into trouble, somebody dies, oh, these are the new villains for next season. So that's kind of the usual how I sort of felt with The Walking Dead. After that, I re-watched. If you haven't seen, I will leave a link up in this corner. I done a live stream on Cinema Dave's channel where we kind of discussed Halloween 1978. So I took this opportunity to check out. I got this German media book of the Bluray Halloween 78 ages ago, soundtrack CDs in there as well, booklet and stuff. Of course, I've seen Halloween a million times. I just took the opportunity to watch 78 Halloween on this media book version before we discussed Halloween on that live stream video, so you will be able to check out the replay. This is a German media book, pretty cool here in the collection. Next up after that, speaking of Cinema Dave, he talked about this movie on his channel, and I kind of when he spoke about it, I remembered like, oh man, I did see that when I was a kid years ago. So I picked up the Blu-ray and checked it out. This is The Car, the 70s horror movie, The Car, about the car, the kind of demon evil car. Who directed this one? Elliot Silverstein directed this, and like James Brolin's in there. Really cool. Ronnie Cox is in there as well. Really awesome 70s horror movie. I remember seeing the car driving around the desert and stuff, and there's some cool bonus features on here as well, so I would recommend checking this out. This is a Scream Factory Shout Factory release in Region A, so I imported this via Amazon, but I would do recommend checking out The Car if you haven't seen it. That was a cool addition to the collection. Next one up, I picked up this Kino Lorber again through Amazon. This is the 1933 black and white horror movie Supernatural, Supernatural, I should say. Carol Lombard's in this one, which kind of interested me because I recently picked up the Carol Lombard collection from Kino Lorber, which I'm looking to delve into at some point on the channel for the next discussion series videos. So I had this like postcard of this Supernatural movie poster kind of thing for the longest time, and I thought like Carol Lombard Supernatural looks kind of creepy. This was what the postcard was. Checked it out, and really, really cool, really creepy 30s horror movie, 1933, black and white. It's only 64 minutes, nice, short and sweet, to the point, and really enjoyed it. 2K master here on this one by Kino Lorber. Again, if you haven't got this, I would recommend checking this out. That's another good recommendation here. Next one, at some point I kind of decided I wasn't, I've been doing the horror picks videos here on the channel. I'll link up above if you want to check out some of those. I've done a whole series from the 2010s, every decade all the way down, and then I've done like a pre-70s, which was 1969 down to the 20s, and I just kind of like, I've been watching horror stuff since August really to do that video series, and I kind of thought like, I'm a bit over horror at the moment, so I kind of got pulled back in with some of these ones here as I've just shown you. So I decided like, what have I got here in the collection that I bought, never watched, and that I could talk about here on the watch list. So this is, what year is this? 1984's Stephen King's Firestarter, starring Drew Barrymore, little like 8-year-old Drew Barrymore, I think. 8-year-old Drew Barrymore. After kind of E.T., this comes along, and will she have the power to survive here on the front? George C. Scott's in this. Martin Sheen is in it as well. George C. Scott is like this crazy bad guy with like a ponytail. He's like a secret agent or something that's really crazy to get Drew Barrymore, who can start fires, telekinesis kind of stuff. It was pretty decent. Louise Fletcher's in here as well, I believe. Wasn't she in oh my god, this movie escapes my mind at the moment. Heather Locklear is in here as well, like for a couple of minutes at the start. DVD, guys, I don't know, this drives me mad. I've been watching some old DVDs recently, and the aspect ratio is completely off when I play it. No matter if I play it on a Blu-ray or the 4K player here of two separate players, but like, it's completely wrong. the wrong aspect ratio. It's like these were kind of, widescreen. When the widescreen TVs came in, a lot of DVDs were released widescreen, and it's like the player is still kind of de-squeezing those pictures, if that even makes sense, and it's not working. It's still the wrong aspect ratio, so I have to kind of go into the settings in the TV or the menu and kind of fix the picture. But Firestarter, it was okay, I guess it kind of shows its age, 1984, but I love Drew Barrymore, so that's probably why I picked this up a good while ago and just had it in the collection, never watched it. Worth a watch, and if you're into Stephen King, you would probably enjoy it as well. Yeah, I just kept going with the horror stuff then, guys. I picked this up in a haul in the shop deals over here. I got sell the used Blu-rays for €3. So I picked this one up. What year was this? 2010 Silent House. This horror movie. Elizabeth Olsen's in there. I've seen her in a couple of things, and I like her work. I'm not too sure who directed this. Chris Kentis and Laura Lau. Director duo on this one. This was really cool. Elizabeth Olsen, goes to this old house that they had when she was a kid, and it's her and her father and her uncle, and they're like renovating the house, and the movie is shot as a continuous take, like one take movie, which was a really great idea, and I really enjoyed it. It was quite a cool concept, and they've done it quite well. The only issue I have with this movie is it gets to the end. The twist at the end was something that was done in a movie 5 years prior to this. Another movie called, in the States it was called High Tension, and over here in Europe it was called Switchblade Romance, a French horror movie. So if you are familiar with that movie, you're pretty going to guess what the twist is in Silent House, but that just kind of it was kind of a bummer at the end of the movie. They just took the twist from another movie and used it in this one. But I did like the continuous take element of the movie. That was pretty cool. Silent House. Next one up, big fan of Carpenter, say it all the time, so I picked up Masters of Horror Season 1 Volume 1. So John Carpenter directs a segment, an episode. So this is basically like a horror series where they invited in a different horror director to direct every episode. So Cigarette Burns is the John Carpenter one, which is really, really cool. Walking Dead, we talked about that earlier. Walking Dead fans, Norman Reedus is the lead in this. He plays a kind of a programmer in a cinema. And he kind of tracks down old prints of movies people are looking for. And Udo Kier, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, he basically plays this collector who is trying to track down a print of this movie that apparently, when it was shown to audiences years ago, made all the audience crazy and they killed each other. So Norman Reedus goes off, and there's some cool cinema and projection elements in there, because you guys know I work as a cinema projectionist. So I thought that was really cool. That was really kind of all I bought this one for. Dreams in the Witch House is a H.P. Lovecraft one, directed by Reanimator director Stuart Gordon. That was okay. It was it wasn't great. And the third episode on this one was called The Fair-Haired Child, starring Laurie Petty's in there. That's really cool. Directed by William Malone, House on Haunted Hill, William Malone. Again, wasn't great. It was all about Cigarette Burns for me for this one. But if you're a fan of Carpenter, do check out Cigarette Burns. And I will just mention, fan of Carpenter, the music. His son Cody Carpenter does the music for this one, Masters of Horror. Next one up, I jumped onto Netflix. I think it was called American Murder, was that series about the guy who murdered his wife and his two daughters, and kind of the usual kind of murder Netflix thing, hid their bodies, and it was all kind of interestingly done through a neighbor's CCTV footage, and the police dash cam, chest cam, body cam footage. It was kind of an interesting documentary, just kind of the way it was done and the footage they used. Next one, I went back to the physical media. So I bought this, I think it was in last month's haul where I talked about, I bought Insomnia, but it was the wrong Insomnia. This was the Scandinavian Insomnia Criterion Blu-ray. Thought it was the Nolan one. I finally got around to watching this. Really cool, guys. Really enjoyed it. Stellan Skarsgård is quite good in this. Really cool 4K restoration by Criterion on this one. Here's the back, and I can't recall seeing Nolan's Insomnia. I know Al Pacino and Robin Williams is in it, and I ran it on 35mm as a projectionist. I just haven't seen it in the longest time, and as I said in the previous video, I thought that's what this was. But I'm kind of glad that I did get this version as well. A lot of people reached out to me and said this was the better version of the movie. I'll still grab Nolan's one just to have. But yeah, this was really cool. I recommend, if you haven't got this, check it out. I'm not overly into subtitled movies, but I am kind of opening myself up to watching them. It does have have subtitles. But yeah, really interesting story on that one, Insomnia. And the last one for this episode of the watch list here, I went back to Netflix to watch the Haunting of Bly Manor series. I'm a big fan of the Haunting of Hill House. The first series was brilliant, really fantastic. I have it here on Blu-ray. They did a physical media release for it with some extended director's cuts of the episodes, which is really cool. I was looking forward to checking out Bly Manor because Victoria Pedretti, the actress who played the older Nell or Nellie character in Hill House, was kind of given the lead role in Bly Manor, and I was really looking forward to seeing, you know, what she could do, because I'm kind of a fan of her work from Hill House. Carla Gugino was going to return. Henry Thomas returned as well. Oliver Jackson Cohen returned as well. And everyone else was kind of new cast members. I had some good horror elements. Wasn't as good as Hill House. Nice follow-up. More of the kind of drama, love story stuff in there. Like, not that that wasn't in Hill House in any way. But yeah, it's just kind of, you know, I'm glad I watched it. I will pick it up on physical media if it comes out. I don't think they could beat Hill House, if I'm being honest there. Hill House is always going to be awesome, like super scary right from the start. Bly Manor, as I said, had its horror elements in there, but more of the kind of drama and the love story thing going on, which I found interesting. I did enjoy the series, but a big fan of Hill House, and I don't think they could beat that one. That was it, guys. That was about the last 2 to 3 weeks worth of stuff I've watched. Hopefully you've gotten some recommendations out of this video here. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below if you're going to check any of these out. And what have you been watching the last couple of weeks? Let me know. I would like to know what you have been up to. Are you guys doing the 31 days of horror and all that stuff? Like, we're getting close to the end of October, so I'm probably kind of done with my horror stuff, although I did pick up the Friday the 13th deluxe box set, so I will be getting into that at some point, just not right now. Yeah, so that's going to do it for another episode of the watch list here, guys. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Don't forget to hit the little bell to get notified every time I post a new video. Thanks as always, and I hope to see you guys on the next video.